day, wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they grind me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got $1 for all those rainy days. Ain't have a day off in like 80 days. I got hustles in like 80 ways. Kids if he won't take a lazy day. Wifey on me told me take a break. I keep going to the paper street. Then it's trips out to Montego Bay. If I take the job, bet I get it done. I said it before, I'm a 101. I just caught some ones, only wearing ones. Fornicate the funds, money made me calm. Diamonds on your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock a tech. You want that chain, you better cop a vest. You want the check, but can you make it stretch?
wanna know me. I stay low key, all gas, no brakes, baby, let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane. Feel like you the one and I'm on one. So what it's gonna be? Baby, squad up, we finna go deep. Riding on a team, got what you need. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I hit the town, you should ride on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all love. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Know it's all love. Know it's all love. I've been feeling like the motherfucking man lately. Can't nobody do it like I can. Daily, baddest in the lattice in the land. Body turn your nigga to a fanny up, fanny up. I made it where I'm at on my own. Had a couple blocks in the road, but I get to the bag on the low. I be counting stacks while they grow, yeah, you know me. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I come in town, you should ride on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck. I know it's all love. Everything good. Keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Good. Know it's all love. Know it's all love.
And it looks like Noda is going to be your winner of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Is your champion. JJ splits the middle, gets past both drivers.
All right, we're back. It's back. It's time attack. Jack won last week. Go, Jack. Welcome, everybody, to Split 1 here of FRL in Portugal. Unless you're AD Gamer, and then you call it Portimao. AD Gamer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. Can't wait to see the race. I'm really excited to see how these drivers handle those famous corners. I can't wait to see.
I personally want to say this is my favorite track. I don't know that I can say it's my favorite track, but it's easily top 5 for me because it's just gorgeous. It's just a gorgeous track to watch and see where everyone is and everything that happens. We saw with Split 2, weather was an absolute joke in my opinion. Made no sense. I don't know what it was, but it was fun, and you raced in it, AD Gamer. So do you want to talk about kind of the fun of the weather of Split 2?
It wasn't any fun, to be honest. It was really unpredictable. You didn't one lap the slicks were faster, the other lap the inters were faster. It was a bit of pure luck and gamble. So it seems the sky is clear in Split 1, so they aren't going to have this problem. But I think these drivers, even if it's dry, they seem to put in a good show for us. So being dry and being wet, this show is still gonna be good.
Absolutely. So, looking here at qualifying, I noticed a few drivers are looking to qualify on mediums. Do you think they're just doing some outlaps here? As Syntex puts in a 21 through the first sector, do you think the mediums are just kind of for sightseeing laps, or do you think that the preferred strategy is to start on the mediums?
It really depends on the strategy of each driver. You can't do medium softs. It's really risky. So it's a matter of preference, to be honest. If some people think they are fast enough on the mediums, it makes absolute sense to go in the mediums. But people are going on the softs just sure thing to be fast, but in the race they're going to be slow, as we all know. But let's see. I don't know if they are going to do one stint on these mediums and then put on a softs. So it's going to be really a strategic game, to be honest, to see what's the best strategy for him. They certainly have a strategy in mind. So yeah, it really depends from driver to driver, from strategy to strategy. And let's see. I can't say anything now because don't know if the weather is going to play a thing in Split 1 in the race. So I see a lot of people spinning already and crashing. So I think the track is a bit tricky, and I don't know if it's. You can't say anything for sure in Formula One and the game as well. So they're playing in the strategy game. So they're putting the mediums early on. So it's probably to see the drivers that are on the mediums to put on a set of softs in the end of the quali.
With the mediums, I think it's really interesting to look because Jack just put in a 117.6 on mediums versus the four drivers in front of him on 117.432. Syntex has a 117.1, but he's on softs, and Maddie puts in a 117.8 on mediums. So the time delta not that far. Jalajne puts in a 117 flat on softs. So if they were to put on a set of softs here near the end, I really think they could jump up in times very quickly.
Absolutely. I don't know the time reference, but I think it's more than six tenths. So Jack is, if he does his Stazu just completely blues why I said. If I was going to say if Jack put on a set of softs, it was probably to go P1, but that lap from Tazo was just amazing. Like 3 tenths to his teammate behind. It's going to be hard to beat that time.
That's a very, very competitive time up front, especially this early in. 12 and a half minutes to go here. 1:16.7 the lap time. so far, but I'm not going to say it's unbeatable, but I'm going to say somebody has to put together a very, very impressive lap. So we may see something here near the end of qualifying beat that, but I think it's going to be very, very hard as we go through here into qualifying. 12 minutes to go. Only a couple drivers who haven't set a lap. Barthez, who hasn't been out of the pits yet, and then 29 Bailu and Dormati, who are both just now starting flying laps. I believe Dormati is in the second sector at the moment. And then True Hero, I believe, just joined in, possibly some connection issues.
Yeah, connection issue seems to be the theme now in these games. So I hope it's all fixed now to not be any intervention or interruption in the race, and for these drivers to have a clean race without connection issues. Because if you race Formula One, except for this game, the 2021 online, it's certain you have bugs. It's an unfortunate thing about this game, but hopefully not any bugs today.
I'm not gonna lie, with the way the weather was there in Split 2, I really thought I was watching some disconnection issues because it was very, very weird. I've never seen anything like that in the game where it's been like drizzling but still dry conditions. That was a really weird moment.
I no was happening in the weather. It maybe was a bug, or because it was raining hard and the slicks were faster. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bug or a connection issue or something like that. But hopefully it isn't going to happen in this race, as people find this trick this track tricky, as this is showing. He's taking a bit of a shortcut on the second to last corner. Well, if he managed to pull a lap using that shortcut, he's going to fight for P1. Absolutely.
On board here with Noda. Noda, of course, winning the Portuguese Grand Prix last season in season 3, so he's going to be one to watch. He's currently out on a flying lap. I'm really interested to see, because a lot of drivers are starting their second laps. I noticed Jack is out on a set of softs, so he's going to be really trying to send a time through. Tazo and Jalajne are within hundredths of a second of each other at the moment and have such a big gap on the rest of the field. I wonder what it is that makes them so fast. Is it just lots of practice? Is it just maybe a bit of luck? Do you have any idea what it is that separates those times so much between the drivers?
Well, practice makes perfect, so I bet those drivers have hundreds of hours in this game. I have dozens of hours on this track. I'm not surprised to see those drivers on top, because they're really good drivers and they practice a lot. I'm just doing something, so and I see Jalazny playing Formula One, so they train a lot, no doubt. So I'm not surprised to see the amount of work they put in to have the results. I'm not surprised at all. I'm surprised how close they are together. That's I'm a bit surprised, because they're always and 1/10 or below of each other. So I don't know if we need to do another split. Split 0.5 for these two guys to fight. But they're one step ahead of the whole field, it seems.
Looking here at the Drivers' Championship, Jalajna and Tazo, a 40-point gap between the two, and then another 31 points between Tazo and Jack. So things are very, very split up between the top 3 of the field. There's a large gap even from Jack to Noda, 20 points separating them. So the front 4 really, really setting their dominance, and it's, even though we're here on round, what is this, round 9? I still think it's going to be a case of whoever gets luckier through these last few races. Even though Jalajna does have such a gap, he did DNF last race. So are we this track's really challenging, so I don't know if we should. I don't know if we can call any certain winner. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody thinks there's a very obvious winner that I don't see, but I think it's going to be a lot of luck between the drivers as JJ puts in a 1:16.71, going 100th of a second up on Tazo to set the fastest lap so far.
His jack is just invalidated his lap. So what it seems to be a unbeatable lap time, it's now beatable, as JJ showed us, and a couple more drivers are capable to improve and to even fight for that position. Jack is one of them, but he couldn't pull a lap together until now. He didn't validate his lap, so not really. But let's see who can beat those Mercedes drivers, because they're really fast. I don't know if
Merce-
they I don't know if they're using DAS or some some illegal engine or something like that, but they're unbeatable.
I'm going to blame it on an illegal engine because that just sounds like a Mercedes thing to do, especially when you're Mercedes and FRL and you've had 3 seasons of bad seasons, and then all of a sudden here you are. Ignis in the AlphaTauri just put in a 1:17.2 flat to put himself up into P6. So a great looking lap time from him as we're watching other drivers get out and get lap times in. Bis 2000 invalidating his lap. So right now, a lot of drivers into the pits are going into the pits here to try to go through. Zalazny coming through the final corner here. 5.5 minutes left to go in qualifying. We'll see if Zalazny can improve. He's not going to improve. He comes across the line at a 1:19.1, so 2.4 seconds down on that run for him. That is that shows you just how good of a lap that one lap was.
It's amazing to ride on board with these drivers. They're pushing the limit every single corner. I don't know how they commit any mistakes in the one lap. Hit every apex, entry, middle one, and the exit one. Just perfect. It seems the Jelazny is on a good lap, and if he doesn't validate, I think it's going to be a good lap for him, and probably to overtake his teammate in JJ.
He's up in the first sector just barely by 5 milliseconds. So as he comes here through the middle, and purple's the middle sector, so he is on a very good lap. And this is his second lap on these tires too, is what's impressive there. So he's coming around final couple of corners, and you can watch he is just absolutely sending it. So I wonder if the double push lap is just what he's decided works, as he's going to come across the line at a 1:16.4, 2/10 up there on JJ.
Wow, amazing lap for him. I don't know if he did another lap to put heat on those tires, but just stepped up the game again. I don't know if his teammates right behind to improve, or he's in an out lap. But I expect to Tazo to put another lap like Chelazny. I wouldn't be surprised.
We'll watch Tazo here as he's starting his lap. Syntax is right in front of Tazo on a flying lap as well. They both started at the same time. JJ still in the pits, 3.5 minutes left to go. So I think JJ is going to try to play the one lap shootout game and come out and just go straight into a final lap and see what happens. 3-ish minutes left here in qualifying. So at this point, if the drivers haven't started a lap, they're going to need to start one or get out and really just... It's all or nothing. It's win or lose for these drivers at this point. A lot of them have good times in, so they just need to send it to try to get a final lap in and try to get a good time in. Otherwise, they're not going to improve. Tazo purple middle sector. That's impressive to me.
I was on board in his lap. I wasn't impressed to for him to put a purple sector, because perfect second sector. He hit all the apexes, so let's see.
Comes across the line 116.378, so he goes a tenth of a second up on his teammate, and there's JJ starting an outlap. Syntex behind him on P5 now, so it's a battle for the top three, it looks like, between Tazo, Jalajna, and JJ, unless somebody just sends a lap out of nowhere that we're not expecting.
Don't forget about Jack also.
Jack currently P11 at a 117.6, so we're really going to need to see some improvement. And he invalidated his last lap, so Jack's going to have basically a one-lap shootout like I was talking about as he comes around the final corner, so he's going to have a clean lap. Otherwise, it's not... Otherwise, it's strategic pole position for him, but even then, is that where you want to be if you're a driver like Jack?
I don't really know, as it's going to be a strategic pole position from Jack, because he just invalidated his lap, is probably going to start P11 or lower.
Man.
Unfortunately for him, he's a really good driver. It's going to be exciting to see him climb up the field.
It really is here. JJ just started his flying lap, so we're going to ride on board with him and watch what he does as Jalajna is on a final outlap here. But we saw it took Jalajna 2 laps to get his tires going, so I wonder if that is going to be the same case for him as JJ goes purple in the first sector. So very tight battle here for pole position, and JJ does have a little bit of traffic in front of him, but the traffic dives all the way off the track to stay out of JJ's way.
A good choice for him from the McLaren driver to just put the car on the grass for JJ to pass.
Coming around here, JJ is going to go a little bit down in the middle sector, so it's very, very neck and neck at the moment as he was purple first and right on his second sector time, and he invalidates in third sector?
Yeah, he just lose the tail of the car and just a bit wide. Unfortunate for him. It's enough to put him out of contention for pole position.
As the checkered flag falls, so this is going to be all she wrote here. Jalajne, the last driver out to set a lap at the moment. It looks like Dormati is out on a lap that's been invalidated, so Dormati at P12 or lower here. True Hero in the pits, not setting a lap. It looks like some drivers have already done push laps, maybe doing a second push lap. Ignis coming around here, third sector. He's up on his time, but he invalidates right at the start of the third sector. It looks like Barthez jumps up a little bit there to P7. Syntax is out on his lap. Final coming around, but he is on an in lap.
So he's doing another push lap also. Sorry to... But he 1/10 slower, so don't know. He just bit a godly third sector, but he loses a bit of the tail, so I don't know if he's going to improve a lot, but it's enough for P2 for him.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to be down by a tenth there, so he is locked into P2. So it looks like that is going to be your grid set there. Tazo Jalajne on the front row, and then Syntax and JJ, P3, P4, John Meister, P5, Buchik, Barthez, Noda, Ignis, and Kepa rounding out your top 10. Jack on P11, which isn't characteristic for him, really.
Yeah, we used to see him in the top positions of the grid, but you can count on him to make this race even more interesting.
I think a lot of turn 1 sends are going to be in order here to watch a lot of people fling it into turn 1 and see what happens there. Hopefully no big crashes, nothing crazy happens, but I think turn 1's going to be really exciting to watch.
It always is.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we will come back with the formation lap. All right, and we're back with the race. Looking here at tire strategy, Dormati starting on hards, Maddie through Biss starting on mediums, everybody else on softs. I don't know about that strategy, honestly. That's a very, very weird. It's a weird choice coming through from Dormati to go on hards. Maybe he knows something I don't. Eddie Gamer, do you think hards are the way to go?
I'm questioning myself about that choice Dramati did. Because he did some genius thing, or I think that the Haas aren't a good starting tire. You're going to lose a lot of places because behind him there are a lot of people with softer tires. So I don't know. I think yeah, he's going to play the long run, of course. Maybe put the softs in the end of the race, and he's hoping that in the end of the race he's going to be faster. Or he's just hoping for a safety car or rain in the end of the race for those cars to be in the ideal place. So I really don't know what his strategy is, but let's see if he can hold those hearts together till the pit stop strategy.
My guess is gonna be he runs long or for softs near the end of
Yeah,
the
soft,
race.
soft. Yeah, without a doubt, soft.
I I don't know what else you would do there in that moment, to be honest. So it's gonna be fun at least. I mean,
He inverted the strategy. Instead of starting on soft and putting on hards, he just put on hards first and going to put softs in the end of the race. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea, but maybe he knows something we don't, as you said.
as we get ready here, last driver's lining up, trying to get everything clicked in and underway. So everyone's set up here, 5 red lights, and we are gonna be underway here for this Portuguese Grand Prix here with split one of FRL. You can see everyone gets away very well at the moment. 3 wide back in the midfield here, going down, dive into turn 1, and that is a big dive going through from Buchik and Ignis. Kepa spinning out there early, it looks like. And big crash back in the backfield. Dormati, Bartosz, Matty all involved in that as the drivers are continuing to go. Side by side right now is Jack and Kepa, and you can see 29 Bailu trying to have a dive up the inside as well. So they're going to be 3 wide coming into the left-handed hairpin. And oh, that's a big dive from Insidious. What was that? Oh, I don't know if he just had like a technical issue, but that was a mess.
It had to be a technical issue.
And VSC is underway here straight away, and of course that's a VSC. I'm surprised it's not a safety car because that was just a dive bomb in. Wow.
Because I really don't know what was he thinking, but I hope it is a technical problem, because if it isn't, it's going to be a hard penalty for him. The stewards are going to give him a lot of penalty points, maybe a quali or race ban for him.
I'm not even sure who he hit there, to be honest. I'm looking to see who dives into the pits because that was just like 3 or 4 cars that he took out there. That was rough. It looks like Jack, True Hero, Bisser into the pits, so that is that was tough to watch right off the bat.
And we were talking about Dormati in the hard spring and the long strategy. He's into the pits, so I think he discarded that strategy right away. If I'm not mistaken, Sidious hit his teammate, Balu.
I believe he did. Looking, the entire back half of the field is into the pits, so yeah, the entire back half of the field has went into the pits as we're back underway. Fisher goes onto hard tires, though, so he's going to look to play the long game. Unfortunately for Domati, he's going to have to commit to another pit stop. Looking here, Barthez trying to have a peek around Buchik, and he's got Ignis right behind him. So, at the moment, it is pretty crazy. And we didn't even talk about the fact that JJ is up into P2, so the Mercedes-Ferrari battle is well underway here in the front of the field.
Yeah, the issue that a lot of people had in the split two, heating up those tires. We didn't talk about that. People coming out of the pits are already spinning in the first corner, and then the second straight. So yeah, cold tires are a big thing in this race, in this track also. So everything is to play for, not for stuff and everything there, because one simple mistake can cost you the race. As JJ is already 1.7 seconds behind. That's an amazing restart from him. Let's see if JJ can close the gap. Not to mention that he also has JJ right behind him, also to try to gain a few places. So let's see. It's all to play for him because this track is so unpredictable. It's easy to do a mistake. So yeah, we can't predict who is going to win, who is going to do on the podium, because Portimão is an amazing track for great racing.
I am hearing that there is going to be rain at the end of the race, so pit strategy going to be kind of out the window near the end. It's going to be, I guess, about running long and just hoping the rain holds off. Spin back in the back, I believe that is Bis 2000 who has spun out there in turn one. Looking here, that turn one carnage still has me shocked here, and we're looking at this battle here. I would say the top six are all battling out. Tazo's starting to pull away hard from JJ, though. We can see Buchik and Ignis thinking about inverting into turn one, but not. Buchik's helmet is, of course, Ukrainian colors, and it's gorgeous, and he will be running that for the remainder of the season. And as I'm talking about Buchik, he spins.
Commentated curse at his best.
Oh, it's what I get paid for.
Well, I think we all be quiet for the end of the race for another, for any other drivers to suffer because of us.
I don't
So
know. I don't know who to be
yes,
watching right now, to be honest.
we should be watching all of them. Because
Coming around here, I'm on board with Syntex. Syntex trying to chase down Noda here. Like I mentioned earlier, Noda winning Season 3's race. Syntex, a driver that's had a, I don't want to call it a bad season, but Syntex currently P20.
unlucky season, let's say it that way.
Very unlucky season from someone who we know to be a very strong driver. Last season was very impressive. Unfortunately, his highest finish so far this season, P13. I feel a comeback this race.
We all know Syntex is a good driver.
As
He proven as he overtakes Noda. I'm sorry to speak over you. Yeah, shows the quality of this driver, but Noda isn't going to back down. He is known to be a hard fighter, but a clean one. So let's see if Syntex can hold.
As
And
Noda
hope
gets
that you see the Syntex also to more a better one as Bis retires. My team is from Split 2, so unfortunate for him. But let's see the rest of the grid.
It looks like Bis just retiring in the pit, so I wonder if that's just a case of something came up and he had to leave. And it looks like JJ spinning out there in the middle sector. So the Ferrari driver we were just talking about being really strong, and we were talking about how one little mistake can change things, and it looks like that one little mistake occurred there for JJ. We saw it happen a few times with Wasserschwein last race, and then there it is with JJ here. So JJ dropping back down into P8 now, from battling for the lead.
Unfortunate for him. Yeah, we said a couple of times one mistake can change the whole dynamic of the race, and that's the living proof of it. Unfortunate for him, but it is what it is.
That is, I think, going to have to be the saying for the rest of the season as we watch here Noda trying to chase down Syntex. 0.4 of a second the gap here. The battle for P6 well underway. Lap 6 of 33. The race isn't a super... The race doesn't feel super long, but it is a longer lap run. 33 laps here around Portugal. What's going to be kind of the determining point for this race because all the gaps are starting to really spread out. Everything's starting to relax a bit. I don't see a lot of crazy battles happening at the moment. So is it just kind of a consistency is key? Wait for somebody to make a mistake, or what is the big key to gaining positions in this race long term?
Absolutely, consistency is key. In these tracks especially, because it's a hard track and easy to make mistakes. As I think his Dormati show is showing us his spin in the entry of the second straight. As you said, it's going to be raining at the end of the race, so play it strategic, play it safe, and in this when it starts raining, it's going to be the decider to for a lot of drivers there a bit back, as Fisher is in a perfect position because hopefully he isn't going to do another stop before the race. So let's see, because the rain is going to change everything.
Fish you on hard tires here, back in P16, but not in a horrible spot. He could find himself pretty far up depending on how the rest of this race goes. As we're watching Syntex try to chase down Noda here, Syntex chasing down Barthez, I'm sorry, and only a couple tenths the gap here. Syntex, really good run, looking really consistent as he's trying to chase down Barthez, really close to him as well. As they're going to come around the final corner, if he can keep close enough and keep DRS out of the onto the main straight, I think Syntex can have the pass done here as he gets a little loose coming in the third sector. So that was he's having a little bit of traction issues, it looks like.
I don't want to, but I don't want to talk about Santex because I don't want to commentate curse him because I'm keeping an eye on him, but hopefully he can do something good in this race to show the potential that he has.
And Barthez got right out of his way and just went right into the pits. It looks like Barthez opting to go onto a fresh set of tires along with Bichik there. So Syntex being released to try to chase down Ignis. 4 seconds the gap for him to try to close up. The battles are not really close at the moment here throughout the front of the field. We do have a good battle for P15 going, though. It looks like Maddie trying to chase down Kepa. Of course, we watched Kepa have a great battle there in Split 2, and now here we are in Split 1 watching Maddie and Kepa battle.
The closest fight that we have. As JG is getting closer to Nota, I just noticed. 7 tenths behind him.
Just
6
noticed
tenths
that.
now, so another battle to watch.
I wonder if Noda maybe had a bit of an uncalculated error there, because I don't think JJ was nearly that close before. So I don't know how that gap closed up as much as it did.
Or JJ is pushing like hell.
That is also an option. JJ is a fast driver, so he could be pushing really hard. Couldn't tell you. Yellow flag sector 2. It looks like that might be for Buchik spinning there, but he's back underway, so no issues there. No need for a safety car. JJ is right behind Noda, though, trying to chase him down. Lap 9 of 33. I know there was a discussion before this weekend of don't take uncalculated risk, but I feel like you have to take a risk to try to get a pass done around this track. So I wonder what is going to be the plan. There was the big discussion with the stewards earlier this week about remembering not to take unnecessary risk and not to do anything crazy and just to basically think while you're driving and don't just like try to make a panic pass and ruin someone's race. But I mean, they're racing drivers. Do we really expect them not to push and not to go for a gap?
If you don't go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver, as Senna said. So it's obvious that the driver sees a gap is going to go for it. Certain they are going to think if it's a good opportunity, if not going to kill his race or do something worse than killing the other person's race. But I think it's it is always going to happen a silly move or just break a little bit too late. It's racing. We have to deal with it, and hopefully not to be a huge incident, just a little bit of wheel banging for to spice things up and not really crashing into each other.
I think the big thing with the stewards is they just don't want it to be you ruin someone else's race from doing something not smart, basically. They don't want you to do something that absolutely makes no sense, it wasn't going to work, but you tried it anyways. And it looks like things are kind of smoothing out here. Unfortunately, all the gaps are opening up at the minute. Everybody has a 2 to 3 second gap, except for a couple of drivers like Noda and Barthez. Or if you're Kepa, you just spun in the first sector. And then it looks like Fishu spun right behind him there.
Just following the leader. Just Kepa was in front of him, was faster, so he tried to do the same as him. Unfortunately, Kepa spun and Fisher did the same. So let's see. JJ is pushing hard in the 3 seconds for him. And Natalie, he is going to push.
John Meister and Ignis on fresh sets of soft tires here, and it looks like Noda also on a fresh set of softs. Gamer is in the pits currently. Gamer going on to a set of medium tires again. So I think the drivers are trying to play the long strategy here of waiting for the rain, as Noda is still fighting to get around Barthez here. His teammate right in front of him, and it looks like his teammate is going to let him through there.
Note is with new softs and Barthez is in hard, so it's a logical thing to do.
Bartha is going to play the long game here, and I think Noda is going to have to commit to a two-stop strategy at this point. Looking here at different battles, Maddie in P12 trying to chase down 29 Bailu in the middle sector. Little bit of a loose exit there from Maddie, and thankfully it doesn't cost him anything there with Gamer right behind him about a second, but it does let the gap open up between him and 29 Bailu. This race is really starting to kind of settle out here. JJ, Syntax, and Bartosz all in the pits at the moment, and it looks like Syntax and JJ onto Syntax on hards, JJ on softs, and Bartosz on mediums, so that's going to be one to watch as they come out of the pits. Looks like here Syntax comes out in P5, JJ P6, and then Bartosz out into P9. Jack's now up into P8, but Jack is still on his mediums and hasn't pit yet. Going around here, lap 13 of 33, 20 laps to go. Tazo now diving into the pits, so Jalaj now on 12 lap all mediums underway. Yellow flags in Sector 2 and Sector 3, but it looks like no harm, no foul. I'm kind of holding my breath here, trying to predict if when a safety car is going to come out and if it is going to kind of make things really chaotic for these drivers as my game does something weird. Going around here, Noda has retired from the session. It looks like Noda DNFing somewhere, and that is going to be very unfortunate for Noda there. So he's not going to get a chance to win this race again. Yellow flag sector 3, but no safety cars at the moment. So looks like they're going to get away with it. No harm, no foul. Still watching here. Zalazna now in the pits. Tazo's on fresh mediums, and Zalazna into the pits coming out on a fresh set of mediums, and still has a massive gap there on John Meister and Ignis. So JJ about 14 seconds back from Tazo at the moment. Just kind of watching as things calm down here. It looks like a great battle forming up for P11 at the moment. Gamer trying to defend from Maddie and trying to chase down 29 Bailu for the last of the points paying places here. Not too crazy here with the looks of everything. It's looking really, really good so far here. Other than that lap 1 incident, things have stayed pretty clean between the drivers as far as I can tell here. Bartosz and P9 chasing down Jack, 0.4 of a second to gap, and it looks like Bartosz on the fresh mediums is starting to gain on Jack as we continue to go along. And my game continuing to do really weird things as we go through, but that is part of FRL. Couple technical issues here and there, but we keep things going. And Bartosz is going to have DRS here on Jack. He's going to go down the inside. He's going to go by the side, and he's going to say bye-bye. And Bartosz is going to take over P8 from Jack on his 12-lap-old mediums. Jack is starting to struggle, I'm sure, with tire degradation. Lap 15 to 33, nearing the halfway point. And other than this battle right here between Bartosz and Jack, and then Gamer, 29 Bailu, Maddie, this little like P8 through 12 battle, well, P8, 9, and then this P like 10 through 12, there's not a lot going on. The front of the field is really calmed down and really relaxed. There's enough gaps built up that as people pit, nothing crazy is happening. So it's just kind of a matter of watching here for the last of the points paying places and seeing what happens. Lap 16, Bartosz within 0.4 of a second here of Barthez. But, oh, look at Bartosz get really loose there out of the corner. As we come through here, Bartosz 0.3 of a second the gap here, and he's got Jack half a second behind. So if Bartosz can get a pass done, Jack is me hoping to be close enough to just follow him right along, and then that'll open up the battle here. I know we see a lot of times whenever a driver passes, one driver passes, then it seems like the second one follows right behind. So we're really going to watch and see what happens here, and hopefully this will produce some tight battles here.
Gamers 2 tenths behind Balu. So an amazing battle there. I don't know if Balu did a mistake or something like that because they're really, really close to his gearbox. And if Maddie, if Gamer passes, Maddie's going to be right behind him to pick up the scraps. So let's see.
Let's see, as we come into the DRS zone, Gamer has a good run coming through, 0.1 of a second back as he opens up DRS. Of course, his ERS light is blinking, but with DRS, it should help him out here as they're going to go side by side here into turn 1. But it looks like Gamer goes way wide there. And then they're side by side again there. So Gamer, with a bit of an error, costing him the chance to have that pass done for P10. But it looks like Jack here. We're going to jump back up here to P9 because Jack is right on the gearbox of Barthez, close enough that it looked like for a second he had that pass done, but it looks like he's not got it. So here as they go through the middle sector, unless there's a big mistake by Barthez, Jack still in P9. That run from Gamer, I'm not sure what happened to him there. That was interesting.
Maybe it just missed his breaking point. He didn't have DRS in the second straight. Also, I don't know if something went wrong or. But let's see, as Ignis drops a place, I don't know if overtook or did a mistake.
I believe that John Meister just happened to have DRS there and was able to get around Ignis in that battle for the front. As Jack is finally getting around Barthez here as well, the battle for P8. So Jack can now try to catch that 1 second gap here on Bartosz to try to build up. So things finally starting to heat up here on lap 18 of 33. We have a 3-wide battle here for P10 coming around through the main straight. And it looks like in that one, Gamer is going to hold on and get the lead there between the 3. 29 Belu right behind him, though, and Buchik right behind that. So they're all starting to battle out. So things finally starting to get heated up a little bit here in this race. And it looks like here, 29 Belu is going to dive on the inside of Gamer. Not have enough. Gamer gets really loose off the corner exit, though. So barely holding on and very lucky to be holding on at that point.
An amazing defense from the on the outside of Gamer. I don't know how he managed to keep that place. Really great defense from him. Let's see if he can keep up this defense till the end of the race.
Hopefully he can, because it's going to be fun to watch here. We're going to jump on board with Ignis, who's he was only 3/10 behind John Meister. Gap now down to 6/10 and continuing to grow. So DRS really helping him, but he's not able to keep the run through the first sector, it looks like, as they go around. No safety cars yet. There was a VSC right at the beginning, which I'm really shocked wasn't a safety car. So pretty clean racing so far from the drivers. I don't feel like we've seen anything super crazy happen.
Despite T1, it has been a lap 1. Sorry, it has been a really clean race. So let's see when the rain comes if it's going to be as clean. But amazing racing for these guys. No mistakes, no crashing into each other. Oh, great show of sportsmanship and ability of these drivers.
Definitely, as Matty gets a penalty here, we're going to jump on board because Gamer and 29 Belu are having a really good battle here. Down for P10, the last of the points paying places. Gamer is barely defending his position here. And then 29 Belu on Buchik, barely defending his position. They're both on very, very worn out tires here for P11. And it looks like Buchik's going to have the inside. He's going to push 29 Belu to the outside a little bit there. So Buchik battling his way up into P11 in a very unconventional passing zone, but gets the pass done.
He is on a very old soft tires, 10 laps. The tires are going to start to die off a bit. As 29 Belu goes into the pits with change his mediums. Buchek is still going hard on those tires. I think he saved a lot of tire in the end of his stint, so let's see if he can attack Gamer and pull an amazing move like he did on 29 Belu.
I'm sure he'll be able to, as 29 Belu goes onto a set of softs there as he comes across. So that's a very interesting decision there. 13 laps on softs. It looks like it's doable, but his tires are going to be screaming near the end. As Buchik has a run here, and it looks like he gets the pass done on Gamer there in the middle sector. Again, a spot that I don't feel like we've seen a lot of passes, but a really clean pass done there.
I think Buchik is the king of overtaking spots you shouldn't overtake, so amazing ability from him to overtake on those places. let's see if he can keep up the pace to put in a good finish.
12 laps to go if I'm able to do math right. And looking here, the front of the field's really spread out yet again. So some rain would be welcome to kind of mix things up and tighten the field up. Watching here as Buchik goes around, he's got a 1.5-second gap on Gamer now, so things really going to start calming down as that battle is going to be spread out yet again. We'll see if anyone's able to get a good run. No one through the field, as far as I can tell, is going to have DRS at the moment. Looking at intervals, nobody should have DRS, which is going to be really impressive to watch.
We don't see that every day. Nobody has DRS.
Looking here, checking in on the Mercedes up front. We haven't looked at them or checked on them in a while, and I mean, 3.5 seconds the gap between Tazo and his teammate Zalazna, and then 7 seconds almost the gap between Zalazna and Ignis. JJ has 6 seconds to make up on P3. Syntex has nearly 9 seconds to make up, so things really calming down here, and just a lot of cruising going through. As Ignis goes into the pits now, 11 lap old soft tires. He needs to come off his tires. I also noticed that Jack and Dormati are on 18 lap old mediums, so they need to come off their tires at some point too. Ignis into the pits, Jack into the pits. Right as I say, he needs to come off of his tires, and it looks like Ignis onto a fresh set of mediums. I would imagine Jack is going to go onto a set of softs to finish up the race here.
I don't know when the rain is going to hit. Maybe the information that we were given wasn't so correct, but with 11 laps to go, we don't see a drop of rain. Oh, the rain is going to hit in the very end of the race. So let's see, because the rain is going to change everything without a doubt.
I don't even see like a hint of overcast, so my assumption is going to be the information we got was wrong, which means things are going to really calm down here. But Ignis barely came out ahead of John Meister, so Ignis is going to need to push because there's a 1/2 second gap there, and then 29 Bailu only a 1/10 off of Maddie, and by a 1/10 I mean he just got past Maddie as they're battling there, coming out of the hard left-hander, and things are back together here. Ignis 8/10 off of Barthez, who's on 13 lap old hard, so my guess is Barthez is going to be committed to the end here on the hard tires he's on, which are going to be absolutely dead in the next 10 laps.
As true here is also on old mediums. He has to get in the pits fairly shortly, because I don't think those mediums were going to handle a lot more laps.
18 lap old medium tires. That is such a... That's impressive to me. And Dormati, 20 lap old mediums. He's finally into the pits here. We're watching 29 Bailu go around and Maddie trying to chase him down. Not... You have to be pretty close in the DRS zone to pass.
It's a hard track to overtake, so you have to be really close to try to do a move. So it's another strategy to overtake. Have to be really smart to your overtakes for not to crash. But as it seems, the sky is getting a bit darker, as we talked about. The rain, we said the information was wrong, but it seems to be right, because the might be my mistake, but it seems the sky is going to be a bit darker now, so I don't know if it's going to rain in the last 2 laps, or let's see. I can't wait to see the rain, because it's going to put things in another perspective, to be a lot more interesting.
I think we are going to have a Spain last season sort of setup here, which 80 Gamer, you know Spain last season very well, and I don't think I need to say why. As we watch John Meister finally get past Ignis, but I do think rain's going to come very, very late in the race and mix things up.
We see a drop of rains already.
Oh,
I'm on board with JJ, and he seems to be a bit of drops of rain.
I
If
do.
if someone can put a masterpiece of strategy and put the engines on the right time, as you talked about Spain last season, I had to bring it up again. Sorry, but yeah, it's going to be interesting if to see what drivers are going to do a masterpiece in terms of strategy. As it seems going to start raining a bit more now, so sooner more than later is going to see some drivers on the Intes.
If you're a driver who just pitted in the last couple of laps, Ignis, Buchik, Gamer, Dormati, Kepa, even Jack, you're going to be kicking yourself right now, I'm sure, because if it starts raining hard enough, you're going to have to pit again for inners or just sit there and drive around on your dry tires in an extremely sketchy way. So if you're one of those drivers, you're probably kicking yourself right now that you took the time to go into the pits.
You can't forget about Split 2 because in Split 2 was raining hard and the slicks were a faster tire. So let's see if it's the same situation in this race, because if the slicks are a faster tire, then those who pitted now are going to be in a good strategy. But if it starts raining a lot more and the Intel's going to be a faster tire, it's going to be a problem for those who just pitted. They're going to use the tires where they can, when they can, but they don't have any choice. It's going to be undrivable in the next few laps if this continues to rain like this, and they're going to have to pit for winters or just survive the rain and hope for the best. But it's not going to be a reliable.
It's Tazo retires. What happened to Tazo there? I
I
don't.
don't know, but it seems the rain caught up someone.
I was gonna say, that's such a weird spot to wreck. I wonder what happened there because he just went. It looks like he just went straight off into the wall, and I don't think there was anyone around him.
I can't see how we got that corner wrong, to be honest with you.
And especially in that spot, that is such a weird spot to DNF.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't really understand.
That is unfortunate for Mercedes, though. Unfortunate for
Absolutely.
Tazo too. He
I'm
had
more on board with Sentex, and I think the slicks aren't the fastest tire. He's sliding a lot. I
it.
think it's time to put on the Intes.
JJ, the
It's
first driver to dive into the pits here too.
it's a perfect time for him because he's on old soft. So yeah, he goes on to Intes, obviously. Well, maybe JJ can put himself on a good position.
If JJ's got this strategy right, he could find himself on the top step of the podium. Um, if things are slick enough, I mean, he's still got 40 something seconds to make up, but if he's called it right here and Jalajna and Syntax are staying out and it's wrong, then it could be JJ's day.
As my game just froze. Okay. I'm going to see the JJ lap times when he comes out of the Inters to see if the Inters are a faster tire, because we don't know for certain now. But he's going to push because it's a lot farther, way farther now. Yeah, a lot far from Gelazny. Gelazny goes into the pits, so I think Gelazny is going to stay ahead because of the amazing, huge gap that he had. Just
30, 30 something seconds the gap there. So Jalajna just a free pit stop basically with no worries or cares in the world. As Jalajna is coming out of the pits and Syntax is just now coming around the final corner and Syntax going into the pits himself. So the gap to leader just from P1 to P3 is 45 seconds. And we still have drivers out on soft compound tires.
it shows the dominance that the Mercedes have.
It's kind of scary, I'm not going to lie. We're watching here Ignis trying to chase down Bartosz. Half a second the gap here at the moment. And it looks like with no DRS, it's all about slipstream here. And Ignis isn't close enough for a pass on Bartosz through the main straight, but he is keeping really good traction coming through the first few corners as Bartosz slides out a little bit. This could be the moment for Ignis to get past as he backs out of it, switches back, and now he slides a little bit. So they're side by side coming down into the hard left-hand hairpin, and as they come down, Ignis does get the pass done at the moment. He gets really, really loose out of the corner, but Ignis is able to hold on. Ignis is up into P4 now. 2.5 seconds he needs to make up on Syntax for a shot at the podium. Lots of traction issues that I'm noticing between drivers at the moment. So even though the intermediates seem to be the best tire, even then, the traction still really isn't there.
Or the tires are not up to temperature, or just it's going to rain a lot more, and maybe we see some drivers putting on the wets. Possibly, but I don't believe so. But now in the rain, it's going to be a lot more predictable. Maybe we're going to see more mistakes.
Oh, Ignis almost losing it there down the main straight, and that's going to open up Bartosz to get right past him as Bartosz is going to just dive down the inside and get right around Ignis there. Ignis is struggling big time for grip, it looks like.
I just saw the Gamer and Dormati are still on the slicks. I know. Gamer doesn't fit.
And he puts in a 140 lap time, so I mean, I wonder if he just thinks it's too late to pit, so he's just committed himself to that strategy or what? And it doesn't seem like the gap is really dropping behind them, though, is the thing. Like, it doesn't look like, as Kamer and Dormati battling here through the Sector 1, sliding around. So, I mean, this is borderline dangerous to me for them to still be out on dry tires in these conditions. They really need to pit.
Don't know if they have a bet with each other to stay on slicks, but it's going to be unbearable in the few laps. Maybe they see that there's no point in pitting, but they are going to be a few seconds. A lot, not very few, very big, very slower. Yeah, slower than the car behind. This game is struggling in the racetrack, going really slowly. I don't know why they haven't pitted yet, but it's going to be time to pit.
We'll see if they pit this lap, which for some reason, something in my gut tells me that they're not going to pit this lap. As we're watching Ignis, who's still trying to get around Bartosz again. They're side by side. John Meister behind them goes extremely wide through the left-hander. And Ignis having to back out and give the position to Bartosz there. So Bartosz holding on to P4, 3 laps to go. I feel like we can sum up the Portugal weekend with weird weather and weird strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. Gamer finally goes into the pits.
Dormati did not.
Don't know what is his strategy, but if it works, but I think it didn't work. This Fisher just getting a lot of penalties.
He really did. I don't know what he did, but I noticed he got a 10-second penalty there out of nowhere, so... Coming around here, lap 31 of 33. Starting for the drivers we're watching, but if you're Zalazny, you're half a lap around the field right now. Actually, you're probably... Yeah, you're roughly half a lap around. Even though the gap from JJ to Zalazny has went down by 10 seconds, it's still 21 seconds the playing field here. And Jalajny has just dominated all season long. It's been crazy to watch. He hasn't finished lower than second, with the exception of last race where he did DNF, but every race he's finished, he's been first or second. So pure domination coming out of the Mercedes driver.
I just noticed John Mice is in a good position because all the drivers ahead of him have a lot of penalties. So maybe if he stays right behind them, he might jump up to, if I'm not mistaken, before.
It looks like at least P4, yeah, unless something crazy happens with the front three cars. Just watching through here, Ignis still trying to get around Bartosz at the moment. And Bartosz has went up 15 places this race, so... And then, of course, the big losers, Tazo and Noda, who have both DNF'd, but for the most part, Bartosz up 15 places and Ignis up 4, so great jump to see from the Aston Martin driver there as we're going on to the penultimate lap, and Jalajny is out in the third sector as the drivers are coming around finishing the first sector.
Tazo said that his control lost connection, so been unfortunate for him. His race ended up like that, but
That is very unfortunate for him. That's not the way I would want my race to go out, especially knowing how close. Even though there is a bit of a spread, and regardless, he would still keep P2 in the drivers' championship. I mean, that's still not how I would want to finish my race. As Jalajny has started the final lap coming through sector 1 here, and we are still watching the final sector here.
if I'm not mistaken, he's going to lap again Fisher. Another good weekend from Fisher. Being lapped twice, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Going on here, final lap, and Jalajny just dominating so far. It's been kind of scary to watch, I'm not going to lie.
He's playing it safe, he's driving smart, so a brilliant drive from him.
Truly brilliant watching through as he comes around the final couple of corners. It seemed like nobody has been able to really give him a challenge. We saw qualifying was pretty close. I think the only person that really would have challenged him was his teammate, and even then it didn't compete as Jalajny slows down and takes the checkered flag here in the race. So that is
It's just a show of how dominant he is.
crazy here. JJ spinning. Oh, JJ spinning their final couple of corners. So no front wing for JJ. Very lucky that he had such a gap built up on Syntex as they come around the final couple of corners here. So final couple of corners there, JJ, P2, and as penalties start applying, John Meister gets himself up into P3, so a double Ferrari podium at the moment. Syntex 4, Barthez up into 5th, Bartosz 6, Ignis 7th, Jack 8, as Jack crosses the line. Buchik still coming through the third sector. Such large gaps here as they come around. And Buchik crosses. Where is 29 Bailu coming around the final corner? I mean, what a race. It was very... Even with the rain and everything, I feel like Split 1 was a very calm, relaxed race.
Yeah, it was calculated driving from these drivers.
It really was.
smooth and consistent. No big mistakes. The only crash we've seen was in lap 1, so congratulations from all the drivers who survived for amazing driving.
All the drivers that survived, I think, is the big key, and then the drivers that didn't have a lot of penalties. So it's how you end up with a Ferrari double podium there. Looking through Jalajne just dominating this race, very impressive to see. He's absolutely dominated season 4, adding another. He's had 4 wins this season now officially. So, and this one, I mean, 32 seconds the gap, just a dominating finish.
Amazing stuff for him. I don't really know who is going to stop him. I think he can't be stopped.
I think the only person that can really battle him is his teammate. And at this point, I mean, his teammate DNF, so that just opens up. The gap was already 40 points, so now the gap is going to be
70.
Yeah.
More
Near
or less.
70, so. Huh. I was not expecting such domination, but never mad to see it. So I think this is going to be where we round out this this weekend here of racing in FRL. Next week we will be in France, so everybody can join us there. It's the same times it is every week. If you're interested in joining, check out our socials in our description. You can check out our Twitter, our Facebook, join our Discord. We would love to have you. We've got spots open for racing always. So if you have any questions about anything, always feel free to message us. We'd love to have you in. But with that being said, 80 Gamers, thank you for commentating with me this weekend. Hope to have you back next weekend. And we are going to call it here.
Bad little flex, she wanna know me. I stay low key, all gas, no brakes, baby, let them hoes sleep. Body on 10, make make your girl OD. I get in my way, never out of my lane. Feel like you the one and I'm on one. So what it's gonna be? Baby, squad up, we finna go deep. Riding on a team, got what you need. Baby, won't you keep me company? Give me something to do when I get lonely. I got something for you when we get home. If you let me put it down, when I hit the town, you should ride on me. Keep your minds on me. On try, baby, I think you should side with me. Stay solid one time if you lie with me. Just promise you never lie to me. Keep the moves on tuck, I know it's all up. Everything good, keep the vibes on crush. I know it's all good. Know it's all love. Know it's all love. I've been feeling like the motherfucking man lately. Can't nobody do it like I can daily. Baddest in the lattice in the land. Body turn your nigga to a fanny up, fanny up. I made it where I'm at on my own. Had a couple blocks in the road.